The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere. Morning Espresso. It's brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Welcome in. I'm Jason Longshore. It is Monday. It is March 9th, and this is what we do. We try to recap what happened over the weekend across the world to the extent that we can in roughly 15 minutes. I always apologize when I get on a soapbox and go over that amount of time. It could happen today. It might. It's possible. Anything can happen, especially as we start a new week. Let's start the conversation this morning here in Atlanta. The home opener for Atlanta United ended in frustration on Saturday night as Real Salt Lake walked out with the 3-2 win in that one. There were some encouraging signs in it. It's true. Atlanta had the ball for longer. I thought they looked better with the ball. The build-up play was better. Alexi Miranchuk starting made the attack more dangerous. I thought Atlanta was the better team up until the opening goal for RSL. In the Longview article over at soccerdownhere.net, I went through kind of how things got away from Atlanta United. The decisive moments went the other way. The control, the field tilt, all those kinds of things were in Atlanta United's favor. The decisive moments, which is what decides the game, went the other way. 3 goals for RSL in a 17-minute span. Sergi Solans, Aiden Herzarkani, and Xavier Gozo. Quick transitions, decisive finishing. I've talked about it a ton. I think everybody's yelling about want better calls, lack of pace on the first goal. The issue is Tristan Muyumba not committing the foul in the transition moment. And I have no idea why anybody's yelling at Cooper Sanchez, who was stretched to the opposite side of the field and couldn't cover where Muyumba had it covered and needed to commit a foul there or win the 1v1 duel. And he didn't. In the first half, RSL won over 60% of the duels. And that's why they were up 3-1 at the break. Alexi Miranchuk had 2 goals. I think you want him on the ball more in creative situations to be able to set up others as well. But he gets on the board twice. That second one cut it to 3-2. Atlanta pushed and pushed, but could not find an equalizer in this one. If you want the feel of the match, read Madison Cruz's Maddie's version. That one is up on the website. After home games, that will generally be up before the before the pillow is hit, at least on our end. Once we get out of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. For road games, that usually pops up on Sundays. The Longview will always hit on Monday mornings ahead of the morning espresso at 8 o'clock, so you can get the more numbers-driven and quote-driven story. So different ways of covering the match. That's what we're trying to do here on SDH Network, along with everything that we're doing with 92.9 The Game in terms of the full-time report and instant insight on the 92.9 The Game social media platforms. We have the before and after the whistle here on the SDH Network that is powered by Nofo Bruco. So all kinds of different ways to consume our thoughts on the Atlanta United matches all season long. Let's zoom out and look around Major League Soccer. We're 3 weeks into the season. 4 teams in the Western Conference have perfect records. San Diego, Vancouver, LAFC, and maybe the biggest surprise, San Jose. Bruce Arena's team won again this weekend, 1-0 at Philadelphia. They have 3 wins. They have 3 clean sheets. Timo Werner helped set up the winner for Useni Buda. Second assist for Timo Werner since his arrival. San Jose looks like one of the early stories of 2026. There were big crowds, big moments elsewhere too. Lionel Messi scored the 899th goal of his career as Inter Miami beat DC United in front of more than 72,000 fans in Baltimore. NYCFC routed Orlando City 5-0, early red card to goalkeeper Maxime Crépeau. Vancouver dominated Portland 4-1 in Cascadia Cup play. LAFC, like I said, they stayed perfect, 1-0 win over Dallas. They also have not given up a goal yet. Toronto, a late win last night in Cincinnati, a goal from Daniel Shallowy. Montreal, they upended the New York Red Bulls' perfect start to the season. A big win for Montreal, who had not scored up until that point. 3-0 over the Red Bulls. Wiki Carmona with 2 goals against his former club. All kinds of storylines in MLS emerging through 3 weeks of the season. Let's go to Italy and Serie A. The race has tightened back up. Dramatic result in Milan. AC Milan defeated Internazionale 1-0 thanks to a first-half strike from Pervis Estupiñán. The win cuts Inter's lead at the top of the table to 7 points. 10 games left. So 30 points on offer, 7-point gap. It might still be too much, but Milan are going to make this interesting. Biggest talking point came in stoppage time. Inter thought they had equalized after a quick corner. The referee had blown the whistle after the ball was in play. He ruled the play dead. You're getting a lot of dispute. Former Serie A referee Gianpaolo Calvarese, he criticized the decision, saying the referee should not have intervened once the ball was in the air, once the corner had been taken. There was also a shout for a handball. He said that was not a handball. The hand was in a natural position. I would agree with that one for sure. I'd have to hear everything perfectly on the corner kick decision. Once the ball's in play, generally it's not blown dead. I don't know if he tried to blow it dead before the ball was in play or not here. It's a little complicated. Internazionale fans not happy about it. Napoli's still within striking distance as well in Serie A. They're on 56 points. So they are 11 points back. Milan are 7 points back. Let's bring it back to this side of the Atlantic. The U.S. women's national team, they won the SheBelieves Cup with a 1-0 win over Colombia. 8th time the U.S. has won this trophy. Alyssa Thompson scored the winner in the 82nd minute after a combination with Jaden Shaw near the top of the box. Thompson was named the tournament MVP. 3 wins, didn't concede a goal across the 3 games. Veteran defender Emily Sonnet lifted a record 8th SheBelieves Cup. She's been involved in every single one of them for the U.S. Dominance in the tournament. It's their tournament. They should be dominant in it. That is expected. But I thought it was some good performances in this one, especially from some of the younger players that are going to be a big part of the U.S. as they get ready to try to qualify for the Women's World Cup later this year. All right. Let's bring it back domestically. A couple of storylines to keep an eye on. PSV right back Serginho Dest. He left Sunday's match with an upper leg injury. He could be out of the U.S. men's national team friendlies later this month against Belgium and against Portugal right here in Atlanta. The USL Championship season did kick off. There was a coordinated protest from players across the league. Players stood still for the first minute of each match. Negotiations over a new collective bargaining agreement continue between the league and the USL Players Association, and there has not been an update as of yet. There also were a couple of expansion teams that saw the field for the first time. Sporting Jacks, they fell 3-0 at home to Hartford in front of a crowd of more than 10,000 fans. Brooklyn FC earned a 1-0 win over Indy 11 on Coney Island. Visa issues are affecting the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Jamaican club Mount Pleasant could be forced to travel to L.A. without several key players. Visa issues reportedly denied entry to multiple members of the squad ahead of their match with the L.A. Galaxy. 6 Haitian nationals are part of the Mount Pleasant roster. The question is how travel restrictions could affect the World Cup as well. The travel restrictions had some pretty strong language about not applying to professional athletes, but they are applying in this case. That's going to have to get resolved and fast. Around the SDH network, we got plenty for you to check out today. Atlanta United 2, they picked up a 2-1 win over Carolina Core last night in the home opener over in Athens. Cayman Togashi, Daniel Chica got the goals. Read the recap at soccerdownhere.net. Latest edition of the Georgia Call-Up, that came out on Friday. We spotlighted Jeff Davis High School senior Connor Fish Munsaic. He is a late convert to soccer. He's piled up 52 goals in his high school career, also 4.0 GPA. He's looking for a college opportunity to play. That's what the Georgia Call-Up does. It's an awesome partnership with us and GA Futures to help kids who want to play in college get that spotlight that could possibly help them get noticed and get that roster spot. The Refill, news from around the world. Iran, the women's team's safety is sparking concerns with FIFA, with the Asian Football Confederation, and the Australian government. The Iranian women's national team stay in Australia is over because of being eliminated from the Women's Asian Cup. They were scheduled to leave today. They have not yet booked return flights amid safety concerns because they drew attention earlier in the tournament, refusing to sing the national anthem in their opening match, and there were lots of things said about that in Iran. We'll see how this one gets resolved. FIFA and FIFPro and the Asian Football Confederation are going to have to act quickly. Iraq, they have requested World Cup playoff delay because of the issues that they are facing. Graham Arnold, their head coach, he has asked FIFA to postpone their Interconfederation World Cup playoff match scheduled for March 31st in Monterrey. There's airspace closures, there's visa complications. This is all due to the military strikes in the region. Several players and staff are going to have problems traveling. Arnold suggested delaying the match until closer to the World Cup to ensure that Iraq can field its full squad. Police Scotland has launched an investigation after chaotic scenes followed Celtic's playoff or penalty shootout victory over Rangers in the Scottish Cup quarter-final at Ibrox. Fans from both clubs entered the pitch after the final kick, first Celtic fans, then Rangers fans from the opposite side. Objects, including pyrotechnics, were reportedly thrown between supporters. Several arrests were made. I think staff members were knocked over and jumped in all this. Authorities confirmed that officers and members of the public were injured. I'm very annoyed by both managers trying to downplay it. Rangers manager Danny Roll said he didn't see anything, which maybe he's blind. I don't know. Probably would make it difficult to be a manager because it was very obvious what was going on. And Martin O'Neill just talked about the great passion of the rivalry and this and that has nothing to do with this. This is deplorable. This is ridiculous. And the fact that this happened is an embarrassment for the Scottish game. This should in no way be celebrated. There's people with masks running out of the stands, jumping people. That is in no way acceptable to anyone. Do not try to downplay this. This needs to be dealt with. It is an embarrassment. It is a public safety issue. It should never happen. Also, this should never happen. A mass brawl in Brazil. It was the final seconds of the Campeonato Mineiro final between Cruzeiro and Atlético Mineiro. The melee was sparked by a challenge on Atlético goalkeeper Everson, escalated into a mass fight involving players, substitute, staff. 23 red cards issued. Cruzeiro secured a 1-0 win to claim the state championship. And Holtke, the legendary attacker for Atlético Mineiro, he talked about how he had been warning the referee this was building. We saw it last night in a much lesser way with the Atlanta United 2 match. The way referees control a match to try to avoid it kicking off into something like what we saw in Brazil, it's a very important skill, and it's something maybe we don't talk about enough. We always get into referees and judgment calls, which are always difficult. We need to talk about how referees manage matches more, especially in how they dial down the temperature when you get into these kinds of situations. Let's go back to England. Port Vale, they are struggling in League One. They're at the bottom of the table, 11 points from safety, but they are making a great run in cup competitions. They defeated Premier League side Sunderland 1-0. They're going into the FA Cup quarterfinals for just the second time in their club's history. They also had a midweek win over Bristol City. Things are starting to come around for Port Vale if they can continue to do this in the FA Cup. Now, is it going to get them relegated? Very possible, because their manager talked about it. Like, it is a very tough distraction with what they're dealing with the amount of games they have. They play midweek again this week. We'll see how they manage it. Jose Mourinho, he accused FC Porto assistant Luis Gonzalez of reportedly calling him a traitor during a heated 2-2 draw between Porto and Benfica. Both men were sent off late in the match after an exchange near the benches. Mourinho defended his career path, saying he's given everything to every club that he's managed. Thin skin, Jose Mourinho. Wolfsburg, they have turned to a familiar face in their battle against relegation, reappointing Dieter Hecking as their head coach. Wolfsburg, winless run in 8 now. They are second from the bottom in the Bundesliga with 9 to play. Apollo Sports Capital, they are reportedly set to complete their acquisition of a 55% stake in Atletico Madrid this week. It would value Atleti at €2.5 billion, would make the U.S.-based investment group the majority shareholder. And we'll go to Liga MX to round out the refill. Toluca, 3-1 win over Juarez. They are unbeaten in the Clausura. They are trying to defend their title. They controlled the majority of this match, but they needed a little bit of help late to see the 3 points come their way. SDHAM this morning, starting at 9:05. It's the usual Monday crew. Abe Gordon from 92.9 The Game, our own Madison Cruz, and Bart Keeler from the Soccer for US podcast, all talking about the weekend. Atlanta United related, MLS related, internationally related, all the things. That's what will happen on SDHAM. Make sure you're following Soccer Down Here on all your social media platforms. Tons of stuff to come all week long as we get ready for the visit of the Philadelphia Union on Saturday afternoon. Atlanta United 2 back in action in Athens next weekend. High school action all around the state this week. Tons of things to talk about. Hopefully you can be part of the conversation all week long with us at Soccer Down Here. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday, and I will see you tomorrow morning for another edition of the Morning Espresso.